Welcome to the official welcome tea for this year's Beyond Health Hack. We're so glad that you've made the time to join us today, and we hope to provide you with a very short but informative session as well. And hope that you guys can take away a lot of clarifications on any doubts you might have, as well as to get to know us a bit better and get to meet some of your fellow participants for this year's hack as well. So with that, I'll give a brief introduction to the speakers for today. My name is Benson. I'm the project director for this year's hack. And with me today, I have my vice directors, Weijian and Suti. Yeah, and so we'll be helping to bring you guys through some of the programs that we prepared for this year's hack, as well as to answer any doubts and clarifications that you might have. With that being said, I think that we can start off with a brief introduction into this year's hack by going through the programs booklet that actually was sent out a bit earlier today. Yeah, can everyone see my screen?
Yep.
Can I get some reactions from the crowd? Thanks to the person who sent the thumbs. Yep. All right, fantastic. So this program booklet was sent out in the Telegram chat earlier today, and so if you guys haven't had access to it, please join our Telegram channel, of course, and just download it, and you can feel free to follow along at your own leisure as well. Yeah. So just to go through a bit of the background to this year's hack. This year, we are similarly organized by the NUS Pharmaceutical Society, and the topic for this year's Beyond Health Hack is on health tech innovations in non-communicable disease treatment and chronic care in the community setting. Attendance-wise, we're actually very delighted to say that this year we have a total representation of 253 participants from local tertiary institutes. And timeline-wise, officially, as most of you should know, we're opening the hack on the 14th of June and closing it on the 31st. And today, the 14th of June marks the official start of our pre-hack program. In terms of deliverables from the end of this hack, we're looking at 2 presentations, so one preliminary and one final ideation pitch. And in terms of takeaways, this year we're really looking at offering all of our participants networking opportunities, ideation development, as well as entrepreneurial support. All right, so let me move on into the objectives for this year's hack. In terms of looking at what can we offer our participants and what sort of main takeaways that we're looking to provide all of our participants, we've mainly divided it into the realms of innovation, exposure, as well as fulfillment. So from an innovation standpoint, looking to increase student-driven healthcare ideation, as well as participation in the healthcare transformation landscape. And from an exposure perspective, of course, we're looking at providing a diverse and holistic platform for both healthcare and non-healthcare students to network with each other and gain career development insights from industry leaders. And from a fulfillment perspective, we want this to be a very unique and enriching hack experience for all of our participants, and really looking at offering takeaways at multiple levels. Let me move on to the themes. So we've mainly divided this year's themes into 2 broad overarching themes. So firstly, the consumerization of healthcare, looking at increasing patient access and engagement in healthcare through novel digital and physical solutions. And the second overarching theme being digitalization. So employing innovative technologies as multipliers to optimize or streamline certain processes. Yeah, and with that, I'm very glad to come to our pre-hack timeline. And so this is the page where I think a lot of participants will be referring back to in terms of looking at what are our offerings for this year's hack programs. And we're very delighted to say that this year we have quite a strong lineup of programs, both meant to enrich our participants and offer you career development insights, as well as insights into the industry, as well as to assist and really enhance the ideation process that all of the teams will be undertaking moving forward. We of course, you guys have access to the booklet, so I won't go through too exhaustively, but just to highlight certain very prominent programs. We have things such as the Founders Club, which is designed to allow participants to take away more of the needs patient needs assessment and needs testing process of the innovation process, as well as the patient needs workshop, which will be conducted by Dr. Scott Wong from the Ministry of Health Office of Healthcare Transformation, which looks at how you assess a patient's, what is the true unmet need for our patients. And we also have a certain more technically minded programs, such as the disease KOL AMAs, where you have the opportunity to interact with industry leaders and experts in their fields and pose them your questions regarding the problem statements and any doubts and queries that you might have. We also have very technical workshops hosted by similarly industry leaders, both in telemedicine and wearables. And this is designed to grant you exposure to the landscape of both of these tech modalities. So essentially looking at what are the trends moving forward, what has worked, what hasn't worked, and we hope that this inspires your ideation process and really assists in guiding you down the right path. All right, so with that, let me move on to the hack timeline. So this is the really intense ideation phase of the hack itself. So we have received some questions regarding why are there, in a sense, two openings, one on the 14th of June and one on the 17th of July. Officially, with the hack opening on the 17th of July, this will be the first day that the participants will get to meet their mentors, their assigned mentors. And this really is the stage of intense ideation and the hackathon, the start of the actual hackathon itself. So as you can see, we have quite a diverse range of programs lined up, from discussion panels on the future of health tech, ethics and AI, as well as several firesides and more lighthearted discussions on getting seed funding, as well as ikigai and career passion in healthcare. And we really hope that through this diverse range of programs that we give participants both insight into the industry as well as facilitate learnings as well. Yeah, and with that said, let me move on to take you through our program posters. And these slides from slide 9 all the way until slide 20, I believe. Yeah, apologies, there seems to be some lag. Yeah, all the way until slide 19. It's really just our marketing and publicity posters for both our pre-hack as well as hack programs. And we really hope that these posters entice you to come down and join us for our programs as well. Yeah, so do observe the details for both the speakers as well as the timing and duration for the programs on these posters. Yeah, so with that said, I'll move on to the last part of the program booklet, which is our preliminary pitch rubrics, as well as our underdog pitching rubrics. So as you can see from the preliminary pitching rubrics, we've mainly broken down the assessment of teams into 4 main criteria. So the firstly being effectiveness, second being feasibility, thirdly, innovativeness, and lastly, of course, the overall presentation of the group. More details have been provided, and also you have access to the, you will have access to the full rubrics, including the scoring, closer to the date itself. Next, let me talk about the underdog bracket. So, this year, we are conducting what is being called the underdog bracket as a means of allowing non-finalists an opportunity to get into finals. So understandably, some teams might be concerned that if you do not make it into finals at the end of the first week, that there essentially is a 1-week gap in the hackathon itself where you don't have the opportunity to participate. And so this is why we've come up with the underdog bracket, which we hope will allow our participants the opportunity to continue ideating and presenting their ideas, even if they don't make it into finals. And ultimately, the best team will, the best 3 teams will be able to join us in finals through this underdog bracket. And more details have been provided in the slide, so do take a look through. And if there's any questions, you can feel free to raise them during the discussion later as well. Yeah, and with that said, we've come to probably the most interesting part, which is our prizes for this year. So this year, we're really happy to say that we've received quite a few prizes from both our main sponsors as well as our hack sponsors. And as you can see from the list itself, within the program booklet, it's really focused on helping teams to continue their ideation process even after the hack itself. So one major outcome that we're really looking at this year is looking at how to best support teams to continue their ideation even after the hack. And this year, we're glad to say that we've partnered with quite a few institutions to both offer commercialization workshops, mentorships, and even incubation with their in-house incubators in order to support this process. And we really hope that both our finalists and participating teams will take as much opportunity to take advantage of these prizes. Yeah, and with that, I think we've come to the end of the program booklet. And yeah, so that's really all I have to present for this welcome tea. And with that being said, I would like to open the floor to any Q&A from our participants. And of course, if you have any questions, you can type it into the Q&A section as well. Or if you're so bold, you can raise your hand, and you can feel free to join us on the stage to ask your question in person as well. Yeah, so actually we have a first question from Aaron Ang. Thanks to Weijian. What is incubation? Sorry if it's a dumb question. So this absolutely is a dumb question. I think that it's a very it's a very valid question, especially if you're new to the whole scene of startups as well as innovation. Basically that whole scene of enterprise. So incubation is where you'll be sort of seated within the in-house of certain innovation units, be it Singapore Biodesign, Catalyst, MedTech Actuator, N1 Institute for Health, and not listing these as direct examples, but rather just as a flavor for what might happen, and you'll be guided along the whole innovation process. And of course, some perks involved include things like co-working space, as well as access to mentors and experts and anyone that can help you along in terms of providing you resources in terms to achieve your ideation process as well. Yeah, I know it sounds like a very loosely structured answer, but I hope that sort of provides you with a bit more clarity. It's essentially the next steps in terms of developing and commercializing your ideation. Yeah, we have another question from Ti Huang. So thanks for the question, Ti Huang. I think some of the participants may have posed us this question during the registration phase, either through email or from IG, regarding the prototype. Our response to this question is that ultimately it is up to the teams to decide if they want to develop a prototype and whether or not you have the bandwidth and the manpower required to do so. If you feel that developing a prototype will help to crystallize and also to illustrate your ideas more clearly, then I would say go for it. But if you feel that it's only an accessory, then perhaps you might want to allocate your manpower and resources to other efforts that will yield more fruitful results. Hope that answers your question, Ti Huang. What is the format of the pitching session? So this is from Tian Xiao. So thanks, Tian Xiao. Regarding the format, we encourage our participants to use as much mixed media as possible. So if you feel that developing a video, or rather recording it and editing a video, will help you to present your ideas more clearly and more effectively, then please go for it. Of course, slides, I feel like unless you're an excellent presenter, everyone should be making some form of slide deck. Regarding the time limit, this is something that we'll be releasing closer to the day itself. Right, Suji? Yeah, so hope that answers your question, Tianxia. So once again, we are leaving it up to the teams to decide how to best present during preliminaries and finals. Can you elaborate more on the booth thing? So thanks, Darius. Thanks for the question. Regarding the booths on AirMeet, I believe that you can currently go into the booth, or rather the arena, in the top tab of the AirMeet, and you can have a look at some of our sponsor booths. So, and you can sort of get a flavor for what the final product will look like, or rather the product that you design for Underdog will look like. Regarding how much more elaborate you can go, there are guidelines on airmeet.com regarding the design of a custom booth. And there are more features to the booths that haven't been fully implemented. So ultimately, we are leaving this up to the teams to decide how much manpower they want to allocate and how much bandwidth they have to settle the booth as well. Yeah. Regarding the setup of the booth, this is something that we'll be elaborating more on closer to the date as well. Yeah. So this is a process on our end, and we'll keep you updated on this. Yeah. Hope that answers your question. Yeah, so I think if there's no questions, I can edit. Sorry, not edit. I can elaborate more on the booths and exactly what functionalities that the booths have. I think that the most prominent example of this is the Singapore Biodesign booth. You can go and have a look. They've actually edited most of the customizable elements within the booth itself. And you can actually see that they've done things like custom booth, custom table names. They've done a lot of hyperlinking to different sites. And essentially, it is a really well-structured booth that you can, there's a lot of elements and a lot of flexibility. Some other functionalities from the booth itself include things like hosting sessions within the booth itself. So similar to how we can have this welcome tea, similarly, you can host that within a booth itself. So ultimately, on the day of Underdog, if you feel like that would be something that you're interested in doing, please, absolutely feel free. Yeah. Question from Frankie. Great job. Thanks, Frankie. Okay, we have.
I think, there's a question.
Yeah, a question from chat, right? Yeah, thanks, Suti. Yeah, so we have a question from Jia Yi from the team Maestro. Very nice name. We saw. Please, all teams, please go and work hard on your names. We're looking forward to seeing some interesting names. Yeah. May I ask if the pitching will be done through AirMeet as well? Yes. So we are planning for almost all of our programs to be hosted on AirMeet. Yeah. Hope that answers your question. Yeah, so thanks for the question, Felicia. May I ask how would we be assigned mentors? So the mentors will be assigned according to, of course, their problem statement preference, their preference for certain tracks, as well as how best we see both their experience and their expertise fitting into the team's problem statement as well as proposed ideation. So if you are proposing certain innovations such as telemedicine or wearables, we, the committee, will try our best to find the most suitable mentor to pair you up with so that you can really consult them and rely on their expertise as well. Yeah, hope that answers your question, Felicia. Meanwhile, I have sent a link in the chat to how to set up custom booths in Amit, and I hope that this provides a bit more of a taste of how to unlock the full power of the booth as well. Yeah. We've just crossed 150 people in the session. So it looks like Weijian won. Good job, Weijian.
Yeah, thanks. Yep, I think just to elaborate on the mentors part, we'll actually be looking at your problem statements after this, especially for teams who are planning to modify them, and we will actually try to find the best match of mentors to see how we can provide the best support for your ideation and solution as well. So once that is done, do look forward to our email. We'll reach out to you to inform you which mentor you're assigned to, as well as the actions or steps moving forward on how you can contact them, or like how you can reach out to them, be it through emails or through their private contact as well. Yep.
Yeah. So, okay, fantastic. Is there a deadline for when we can change the problem statement? So this question is coming from Yu Hei. So thanks for the question. So do you actually want to take this question?
Yeah. Well, we have given the teams until 18th June 2359 to change your problem statements. So if your team would like to make any changes, be it the demographic or the unmet need, please submit to us by 18th June. I believe that's Friday.
Yeah, Friday.
Am I right? Yeah. By 2359 through emails, please.
Yeah.
Yep, just to add on, I believe that we have sent out the problem statement modification guide previously in the group leaders chat as well. If you have any doubts, feel free to check with your group leader.
Yeah, so the extension from Yu Hei is, can we change that beyond 18th June? We are not encouraging this. So the reason why we are actually limiting our teams to the 18th June to submit your problem statement is because the whole process of how to approach your idea, how to propose your proposed intervention and really do a solid foundation for it requires a lot of time. It requires a lot of patient needs assessment. And essentially, we are concerned that if teams only decide on their problem statement after the 18th of June, you guys won't have enough time to develop this solid foundation. And so going into preliminaries, you guys may be faced with a few challenges in regards to how realistic your problem statement is and how realistic the proposed intervention is. So we are trying to get all of our teams to submit their revised problem statements, or rather their modified problem statements by the 18th of June. Yeah. Hope that answers your question, Yu Hei. Question from Yuan Yang. I'm so sorry. So hi, will the sessions be recorded? Yes, the sessions will be recorded, and apologies for not stating so earlier, but this session itself is being recorded. So if you're not comfortable, you may have to leave. So again, my apologies for not saying so earlier. But yes, we will try our best to record all of the sessions. And if the session itself is not going to be recorded because the speaker is perhaps not comfortable with the recording or other conflicting interests, then we will let you know as well. Yeah, we will let you know ahead of time. Yeah, thanks for the question, Yuan Yang. Oh, we have more questions. Yeah, so this question is from Jia Geng. For the solution we had submitted along with the problem statement, can we still change the solution afterwards? So I believe that this is in regards to the registration phase itself. Yes, we are encouraging the teams to change the proposed intervention and even the RCA from what you guys submitted from from the registration phase. Like, we aren't going to make sure that teams stick to their proposed interventions all the way from registration to preliminaries. So we do encourage teams to maybe think things up from the ground up, especially with the whole list of programs that we'll be hosting. Hopefully, we allow you guys to gain enough insights such that you'll be able to rethink some of the proposals and as well as come up with perhaps more efficacious interventions as well. Yeah, so feel free to change. Yes. Hi, when will the mentors be assigned? So this is from Craig. Thanks for the question, Craig. As we mentioned earlier, the mentors the first day that the participants will get to meet the mentors is during the hack opening itself. So the 17th of July. Yeah. Hope that answers your question.
Just to add on a little, we won't be releasing the contact details until the 17th of July, like Benson mentioned, but we might send an email the day prior so that there will be an opportunity for you all to drop an email to say hi and to arrange how you all would like to contact or like hold a meeting on the hack opening as well.
Yeah, thanks, Weijian. And with that, we can segue very smoothly into the lounge, the social lounge. And so if all of our participants, if you haven't had the chance already to have a look around the AirMeet platform itself, the social lounge is a great place to have networking and of course to have your team discussions as well. And it really is quite a fun experience. So we do encourage our participants to play around. Yeah, and if you're so bored, you can do speed networking as well. So this question is from Monica. Just now, will the RCA we submit be used for anything aside from approval? Referring to the RCA from registration, I assume? No, we're not using the RCA for anything else. Yeah. So feel free to change and feel free to modify. Hope that answers your question.
Yep, I think while waiting for more questions to come in, I can make a short announcement as well. Tomorrow night, actually, we have invited Mr. Win Wee from Breathronics to join us for our first session of Founders Club. We'll be sending another announcement message in our channel as well. If you haven't, subscribed to our channels, feel free to do so because we'll be releasing all our details on our programs over there. And if you have the time tomorrow, I think it will be 8 p.m. Feel free to tune in on AirMeet as well because he'll be going through how he did his patient needs assessment as well as how he started his entire journey on his startup as well. He's the founder of Breathronics. Yep.
Yeah, thanks, Weijian. So this actually reminds me, speaking of the sessions itself and of recording as well, we have a few questions regarding how compulsory it is to attend certain sessions. Ultimately, we are leaving it up to the participants to determine whether or not you come for sessions. I would say the only sessions that we actually need participation in would be the preliminaries and finals, as well as underdog, of course. But we are trying to incentivize all of our participants to come down and join us for our sessions as well. So this year, we actually do have quite an interesting incentive in the form of a raffle system. So for every login for a speaker session or a program or even a discussion panel, fireside, anything like that, you actually gain one raffle ticket, which awards you the chance to win an incentive that we have lined up with about 200 Sing. Yeah. So hope that this adds an additional layer of incentive for you to join, not only to see our guests and learn from their experience, but also to perhaps take away a prize at the end of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think just to add on that note as well, I know that the raffles ticket is something that we wish to implement to incentivize you to join the programs. But I think from the organizing com, we can share the rationale and the heart behind planning all of these sessions as well. Because ultimately we know that not everyone here is a annual or even quarterly hackathon participant, and some of us it might be our first time joining a hackathon as well. So we actually invited a lot of guests from the clinical settings, from the tech setting, even from the startup setting, to really sort of give their advice and guidance on how you all can come up with the best solution as possible. And I think ultimately, we would really want this hackathon to be something that is enriching for all of you. And hopefully your solutions that you propose, you'll be able to make it into a reality and even start your own startup in the future. Yeah, and with that, I know that I saw Monica's question just now. We can show it on stage. Yeah, Benson, would you like to take this question?
Sure thing. Yeah. So thanks for the question, Monica. So apart from the mentors and online resources, are there any other resources? Ultimately, this is a case competition. Not really a case competition, but a hackathon, and it's a competition in a sense. So as much as we can try to provide resources and learnings and programs for all of our participants to level up and sort of gain a solid foundation in their ideation process, how much effort you are willing to put into the hack itself, we feel that this is proportional to the rewards that you take away. So a certain level of independent learning, whilst not expected, will be rewarded. Yeah. So I really hope that answers your question, Monica. Yeah. Essentially is no, go and find yourself, but in a more polite and flowery language. Yeah.
Yeah, I think ultimately don't be limited by what we provide as well. I think the reason why we are starting the hackathon like roughly 1 month before the actual thing is to give you all time to really go down to assess patients' needs, to really conduct your own interviews, be it with industrial players or be it with your targeted demographic, and really find out what it is that you are trying to tackle. And we believe that it will be a very fulfilling journey for you all as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Weijian.
Oh yeah, sorry. Just to add on regarding the point just now, I think we have been getting some questions from some of the participants recently on if they do not want to modify the problem statement, or if they have finished modifying, what they can do. Meanwhile, I think we would like to say that you don't have to wait until the start of the hackathon to think about your ideas or to propose your solutions. You can start now by doing more in-depth research or so you don't have to wait until the 17th of July to start. So yeah, feel free to dive into your solution.
Yeah, actually, on this note, I can make an advertisement as well. I think like what Suchi said, really do your research, because we are going to have a disease state key opinion leader ask me anything session. So we wouldn't want your teams to really go in and ask really basic questions. Really do your own research and really ask critical key questions that might pivot your entire projects during the entire event as well. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Weijian and Suti. Yeah, so a certain level of preparation and independent research is expected of our participants, lah. I mean, ultimately, you guys did the ideation pitch as well as the RCA of your own accord to even register with the hack, lah. So it makes sense that the effort should carry forward even during the hack itself. Yeah, so I think since there's no other questions, maybe I can elaborate more on exactly what we mean by doing your own research. So as you can see from the starter packs that we've provided, as well as the problem statement abstracts, a lot of the research that we have conducted is like tertiary research. So looking up newspaper articles or looking up journal articles and sort of summarizing that information for you as well. But part of why innovation is so impactful, especially within healthcare, is sort of that level of primary ideation. So that n equals 1 or n equals 10, that level of ideation. And I think that going down and talking to your target population, that is actually one of the most impactful things that you can do. Second to that is maybe consulting key experts in the field. And this is actually one of the reasons why we've conducted these both tech modality workshops, so the telemedicine as well as the wearables workshop, and the disease KOL AMAs. So Dr. David, who's coming for diabetes, he's a consultant with SGH Endocrine. And I think that it's a fantastic opportunity if you have any questions on unmet pain points or whether or not how valid certain perceptions of unmet needs are within the diabetes landscape. I think that this is a fantastic opportunity for you guys to pose questions to experts in their field and, get either validation or better ideas from what you guys have currently come up with. Yeah, speaking from someone who's participated, participated in last year's hack. One of the reasons why teams were able to succeed more than other teams is just the level of effort that they put into the background research and ideation process. Yeah, so going out and talking to experts and having late night conversations with leaders in their field, this is certainly something that will help you along. Yeah. We have a question. What unique aspects are expected from us by calling it a hackathon instead of a case competition? Weijian, you answer this one first.
Oh wow, that's a tough question. I think the reason why it's called hackathon is because we are giving the flexibility for you all really to come up with an actual solution, a prototype, or even a product, whatever you want to do. Instead of just presenting your ideas and really leaving things abstract and just all talk and no action, that kind of thing. Because ultimately, if you haven't noticed by now, all of our prizes, right, actually are incubation programs and really a chance for you to learn from actual incubators and see how you can take the next step. And we hope that this hackathon will actually be a good starting point for you all to kickstart your own entrepreneurial journey as well. Yep. Benson, feel free to elaborate if I miss out anything.
My response would have been, this isn't a case competition because we don't give you data. Yeah. So I mean that's why we essentially keep harping back on the point of doing your own primary research. Talking to patients that you intend to have, the patients with unmet needs that you intend to address. This is essentially why we're calling it a hackathon rather than a case competition, because we don't give you the data sets to work with, and we don't expect you guys to come up with one set example of what a correct answer should look like. Yeah, we don't believe in that. Hope that answers your question. We don't seem to have any other questions. Maybe I can talk more about the what's special about this year's hack, I think, and how we're differentiating it from other case competitions, hackathons, as well as challenges, in a sense. So I think that when people think of healthcare competitions, the most prominent and striking example is MGC, which is similarly hosted by NUS School of Medicine. And I think that one difference between MGC and BHH is that MGC is significantly more unstructured than BHH. It's there's no problem statements, so you come up with your own, you do your own patient needs assessment, you do your own proposal for a problem statement, and there's a lot of flexibility, and it's essentially a year-long project, so it is quite a commitment, and I think that MGC does produce good results. You can definitely see from some of their previous case competitions, and definitely looking forward to the end result of this year's MGC as well. And I mean, BHH is still in our infancy, so we cannot say that we've produced a lot of things. I'm hoping to produce outcomes from this BHH as well. But we are looking forward to guiding our participants significantly more, which is why we have a lot more programs in place. We do the prizes rather than focusing on giving the cash to directly support. We focus more on workshops and direct support from mentors. We really are looking at trying to support participants more than anything. And ultimately, we really hope that all of our participants, and not just certain participants, take away learnings from BHH as a hackathon rather than just a challenge. Yeah. Not to throw shade at MGC, I'm not. Just to clarify that. Okay, I don't think we have any other questions. So I think perhaps I'll give my closing remarks for this welcome tea. And then with the remaining 15 minutes for this hour, as well as the next hour from 9 to 10, we'll actually release the time back to you all to network with each other in the social lounge and explore the platform as well, so that you can gain more familiarity and see what there is on offer as well. Actually, we have one question. Yeah. So sorry. Yeah. Thanks, Monica. Thanks for your question. If our pitch is successful, how, in what ways might our solutions be actually utilized? So I believe that this is talking about post-finals. And feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. So ultimately, this is something that is not within my realm of control. We have arranged with our sponsors for a certain amount of prizes, and you can actually go into our program booklet and see, for example, the champions, they'll win a incubation with Singapore Biodesign, as well as a variety of workshops. And I think that this is something that's designed to help your ideation move forward, if you're so willing to take it forward as well. And I'm not sure if it's currently still ongoing, but there are certain venture bridging programs that you can also apply for with Singapore Biodesign. Yeah. In regards to how the solutions will be utilized, I think that this is something that's once again contingent upon the teams at their own discretion, how far you seek to take the ideation, whether or not you feel like Singapore is the right place to launch, whether you want to launch it somewhere else. Which target population are you going for? Have you pivoted at all based on research or anything like that? Ultimately, it is a broad future, and this isn't uni in a sense. Yeah, I can't provide you with a degree at the end, but I can provide you with opportunities to develop yourself further. Yeah. So in short, I don't know. It's a very elegant way of saying I don't know. Yeah. So Monica, if you want to learn more, you can feel free to chat with us directly in the message column. You can feel free to message any of the admins, or you can send a follow-up email as well. Yeah, we're happy to take this offline. Yeah. Hope that answers your question. Yeah. So so follow up. I was wondering whether there are companies who will utilize our ideas at the end of the hack. Like, has it ever happened? Yeah. So actually, this is our second year of hosting Beyond Health Hack. And the first year of Beyond Health Hack, only one ideation was taken forward from the finalists to be developed into a long-term project. Because of the nature of last year's Beyond Health Hack, there wasn't a lot of the ideas weren't ready to proceed to commercialization because they were very broad-based in a sense. So, and I mean, our N equals one's example, or rather sample of previous BHHs, it's not we don't have enough data to say that, it's confirmed. But utilizing your ideas is a phrasing that perhaps maybe approaching the problem slightly differently from how we see it, because ultimately we want the teams to take charge of their ideations as well. It's not like you win when you come out as champions of BHH, your ideation immediately belongs to Singapore Biodesign. Like that's not how it works. So actually, all of our sponsors have committed to not claiming IP rights over any of the ideations presented in this year's Beyond Health Hack. So whatever it is that you create out of this year's Beyond Health Hack, that is your idea, and whether you take it forward, be it by winning a prize or sourcing your own independent incubation from one of our many sponsors, that's ultimately something at your discretion. Yeah. Hope that answers. Again, please feel free to contact us, and we can take it offline as well. Yeah. Okay. So I see that helped. Yeah. So with that being said, understand that the Q&A is simmering down at this point. So we just like to close off the welcome tea and thank all of our participants for joining us this evening. And with that, we would like to release the time to you. Apologies, last minute question. So this question is from Junhui. Thanks for your question. Does the solution has to be universal or in Singapore? Going back to what I had mentioned earlier regarding primary research and getting patient data, we feel that, or rather I feel that it may be better for a solution to be based in Singapore, or rather your proposed intervention to be based in Singapore first and address a specific patient population with defined characteristics and a pain point that is justifiable in a sense, before you expand your scope and go regional, global. Yeah. Hope that answers your question. And any last minute questions? It seems that we're getting a few questions. I think we may have to keep this open for a while. Yeah, but just
I think, Benson, we can keep the session open. We'll hang around for a while more. If
Yeah.
you have questions, you can feel free to send them. And for the rest, if you feel like this session is all right for you, you have gathered sufficient information and knowledge about the hackathon already, we won't force everyone to stay and hold everyone back. Feel free to explore the lounge and really try out some of the features. If you haven't done so, you can look at our entire list of programs that we have done up under the schedule tab as well. We have labeled it, or rather tagged it as both either pre-hack or the hack programs itself. I hope that this will help you all to easily filter what is relevant for you. And feel free to just click on the remind me to really save it into your calendar so that you'll be notified and not miss out any sessions that you might be interested in. Yep.
Yeah. So with that being said, just like to unofficially close off this session and release the time back to our participants. And if you have any other questions, we'll be hanging around in this panel for a bit longer. Yeah. And once again, the session is recorded and will be uploaded on our website. So if you feel like, just in case anyone is trying to snake you or something like that, you can feel free to refer back to the recording. Yeah. So thanks for joining us, everyone, and I hope you have a great night ahead. Yeah. Thanks for the question, Monica. Shall we put group name under designation or organization or up to us? Susie, you want to take this question?
I can take this question. I can take this question. Yeah. So from now until the start of hackathon, which is 17th July, you are free to put any designation and organizations that you want. You can put your, it can be undergraduate, your university name as well. The rationale is because from now until then, there will be chance for you to interact with our speakers. We believe that this is a good opportunity for you to showcase your portfolio as well. But from the start of the hackathon on 17th July, we will need you all to rename yourself as participants as well as the group team number. We'll let you all know one more time when we make the official announcement soon. So from now until then, feel free to change to whatever that you deem fit, as long as it's proper. Yeah.
Appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Weijian. Hope that answers your question, Monica.
This year, because we have multiple sponsors and our the whole objective of the hackathon is really to promote student ideation. It's slightly more flexible. There's slightly more ground for you all to play with, and yeah, everything, the IP will be belonging to you all. Yeah.
But the sponsors don't benefit from our ideas at the same time. Is that it?
I mean, at the end of the day, if your idea is really fantastic and everything like that, I believe they will be more than happy to talk to you about what are some of the next steps moving forward. And if you really win one of the prizes during your incubation, you can feel free to discuss with them how to get your first seed fund, how to apply for grants, how to make it an official thing. It's totally up to you. I think the reason why we want to keep it open is because at the end of the day, we know that we have limited this hackathon to students, and not all students are ready to take that step, take that leap of faith to venture out to start their own startup and everything like that, because there's a certain amount of commitment and I think at our age, not everyone is ready or have the maturity to make that decision. So yeah, totally depending on your own team and what you all decide to do after the hack.
I see. What were the solutions last year, like Benson?
Yeah. So last year, the winning team proposed a mixed modality solution. So it was targeted at yeah. So thanks, sure. It was a solution that was targeted at three stakeholders. So the government, the public, as well as healthcare providers, and it was quite an all-encompassing solution. And that was part of the reason why they were graded quite well. So the reason why actually a lot of the finalists for last year's BHH wasn't able to, so by mixed modality, I mean that there was not just one intervention, but multiple interventions being proposed on quite a large scale, actually. And that was part of the reason why it wasn't able to be brought to the next stage, because it's, in terms of feasibility, it is slightly difficult to accomplish such a large scale project, especially for Sanofi. It may not be in their ROI It may not be, the ROI may not be in their interest That's the best way to phrase it. The reason why this year the problem statements are structured in the way that they're currently being structured is because we are trying to narrow down the scope significantly more. so that participants have a more focused phase of ideation. And the reason for this is because we want the outcomes to be as actionable as possible. Yeah, unlike last year's BHH, where all of the finalists presented what essentially is just really large-scale public health campaigns. And I think that does come into play because of the nature of the topic itself, which is vaccination. It's really difficult to do a direct intervention in terms of vaccination and have it be effective, scalable, and that element of efficacy. It's very difficult to preserve that as well. Yeah, so it's a byproduct of the hack itself, but this year, the way that we are going about structuring the problem statements, we hope to alleviate that issue. Yeah, a very long-winded answer to your question, Monica. I hope that sort of provides some clarity. Joel, join us.
I invited Joel onto the stage.
Fantastic.
If he has anything to add on.
Do I have anything else to add? I think Benson summed it up quite well. I think the way in which you approach the problem statements will be very important for everyone else who's still hanging around. Some advice would be sometimes it's very tempting that just because of the way the problem statement is phrased, you tend to only look at it from one perspective. But I think in the spirit of this being a hackathon as well, I think it's always good to examine multiple perspectives that may go beyond what you initially think. Talk to people, network with people. Don't be shy and don't be scared to reach out to people who you think may be able to help you, because that's what helped us a lot as well. Yeah.
Thanks, Joel. Yeah, the last piece of advice, goes in line with doing your own research. Yeah.
Okay, I mean, it's the final few seconds before we hit 9:30. Just want to say thank you once again for joining us tonight. And yeah, hopefully this will be a good start to your entire journey with us for the next 1 month and also. 1 month and a half or so. And looking forward to, interacting with you all more and really hearing about your solutions more. With that, Benson, shall we?
Yep, let's close the session. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Hope to see you all in the future, and feel free to join us in the lodge after this as well. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.